Here's the grid lineup for race 1 for the NZ V8 Utes. Chris Pither taking the marble draw to start off pole alongside Dave Kernahan. Go back to Simon Byrne and Peter Robb from row number 2. Byrne third in the points. Jeff Kernahan and Kane Lobb, the championship leader, from row number 3. Graham Byrne and Jeff Spencer, a row 4 start for the Ford and the Holdens. Peter Ward, Chaos, alongside James Huggy Urquhart. That'll be an exciting row to watch. Scott McKelvey and Dave Stewart from row number 6. Andrew Waite and Mike Lightfoot from row number 7 complete the lineup. So waiting for this race start, Chris Pither off the pole, and Brownie, as we await the start, he's made some gains from qualifying, the only class in the championship that still carries points for qualifying, and the gap has gone from 78 to now just 57 points going into this race as we wait for the lights to go out.
Perfect start too with the marble draw. He gets position number 1 in car number 1.
Kernahan with a great start off the outside.
Troubles down the back.
That was the other Kernahan car having some issues getting away as Simon Byrne's trying to look down the inside behind Peter Robb. They're 2 and 3 wide down through turn 1 on board with Buzz. Oh, Huggy getting out of shape just in front of him in the black number 45. There's more contact in behind. With Graham Byrne just copping a touch there. There's the new BSL Racing colours for Mike Lightfoot, and Andrew Waite lines up alongside him in the Ideal Standard Mainline Construction Holden.
Buzz had problems with the battery. That sorted out.
Now he's got together
in the race. And it's Senior Burner.
Senior and Buzz get together on the first lap. That's up towards turn 5. You could see that happening on the onboard. I was just about to say, he's watching Andrew Waite work his way through. He's got a new nickname this weekend, DJ48.
Doof Doof, I call him. Doof Doof.
He does a bit of DJing.
Exactly. But look at Pither. How much has this championship fallen back into his lap? And now the sight games are on between him and Kane Lobb as we take a look on the replay. The big anti-freeze.
Well, the first one was Kane Lobb and Peter Robb, and then in behind them, it was Lightfoot up the inside of Byrne. So there was a couple of incidents there.
This is on board Buzz. Let's see what happens here with Senior. He just moves over, bang.
Don't know that there was an awful lot of room down there for the inside for Lightfoot, but up ahead of them, more importantly, the championship leader Kane Lobb getting into Peter Robb, and already it sounds like a drive-through has been called on race radio for Mike Lightfoot.
Yeah, not leaving any racing room for Senior as he just took the apex in that corner.
Kane Lobb looking for an inside run. So where did Lobby start from? He started from grid position 6 as we're on board with Simon Byrne, who's in the 3rd position chasing down Pither.
And also Peter Robb, you can see his car, he was all over the place there. He had suspension failure in the outlap, and that just when qualifying began. So he's another one of the drivers with issues this weekend. And Kane Lobb, he's just not happy, the championship leader. He says he's slow as a wet wig. There's Dirty Dave, the KCL, just down the road from Turangi, 40 minutes up the road. He and his son, Jeff, they come racing. Here's the drive-through for Buzz.
Yeah, I just saw in the back a shot. There was another dispute down at turn number 1, so another incident out there on the racetrack, I think involving the second of the Kernahan Fords. Pretty much hometown race for them. They live in Turangi, just 40 odd minutes away here from Taupo.
Yeah, and he also loves this track, Dirty Dave, the senior, because he first raced here back in the A1 GP days and had a top 5 finish, and he was buzzing about that.
Here's the peak antifreeze replay. So this was Chaos and Jeff Kernahan. Good old classic third versus Holden.
Well, Chaos reckon he had a good night's sleep and a haircut and found a couple of seconds.
Well, he's just found Jeff Kernahan. So there's Simon Byrne chasing down Dirty Dave Kernahan, who's really come on strong over the last couple of weekends.
Yeah, he has, and really enjoying his racing. They move big 100-ton digger equipment over the weekend, and racing a 2-ton Ute, or during the week, I should say, and racing a 2-ton Ute during the weekend is just fun for him.
So Simon Byrne trying to get a run here on the back straight down towards the carousel. He pulls out of the draft. Who's going to win the late braking duel? Byrne to the inside, should have the line. He's got the inside line.
21, that's
Jeff Kernahan.
Junior Ripples.
That'll be with that incident with Chaos up at turn number 1 on the previous lap. So Byrne on the move.
Now keep an eye out. Here we go for the flag for the drive-through. Keep an eye out on Kane Lobb, the yellow headlights there of the Mark Cromie Holden VE Commodore Ute, because he's desperate to pick up some speed this weekend. In fact, in his pre-race statement, he said, slow as a wet wig, we have to find 2.5 seconds somewhere, anywhere, otherwise might have to switch to a Ford. Can you believe that?
Oh, I don't know that Mark Cromie will be too happy about that as the Holden dealer up in Whangarei in the far north. Well, knowing Mark, he'll just go and buy the local Ford dealership anyway.
But it's all on about the championship here, because remember, over the next 6 races, there's actually 600 points up for grabs in the Utes, because you have that 75 that they can get for qualifying, which is where Mark, well, I should say Chris Pither, always picks up that 75 and just dominates the points all with the qualifying.
Well, this is the 6th round of the championship, and he's had 6 poles. So, you know, easy 75 points every time. And that's how he's made his gains with the early season troubles he had in the championship. He was 170 odd points out of the championship lead going back at about the end of round number 2.
So if you count that up, that sort of makes up for the 6 problems they've had with the diff.
Yeah, well, they're on to about diff number 6. Now we've got another call over race radio that Simon Byrne has been assessed with a jump start and will carry a 5-second penalty. Could anything else happen in this race? It's only the first one of the weekend, Brownie. So Kane Lobb on the hunt as Chris Pither goes through with the race lead down to the carousel. Simon Byrne with a 5-second penalty. Here's Lobb under brakes on Kernahan for the 3rd position. This is important for the championship because the difference between 1st and 3rd is 15 points. So the gap, the championship down to 45. This is too close to call.
That's why I say this round could be the turning point for the whole series. But then you've still got to decide it around the concrete of the ITM 400 around the street race in Hamilton. So make sure you're there. It'll be fantastic.
So the fastest lap, a 1:46.2 for Chris Pither. Looking at the lap records, 1:47.2 set by Simon Byrne here in January 2009. So we're under lap record pace for the first race of the NZ V8 Utes already. Chris Pither with a new lap record and the race lead. And just looking at the victory list, he would be looking for victory number 9 for the championship.
And that's coming off a qualifying time of 1:45.2. I mean, has he got the bit between the teeth or what? Good to see Dirty Dave out there. He won't tell us how he got that nickname, but I suppose being a construction worker during the week, he'd be pretty dirty.
There's the Gypsy, Chris Pither. He's looking to again contest the Australian V8 Ute Series for the upcoming season. They'll be starting off at the Clipsal weekend in Adelaide. So cross fingers for Chris Pither and his Australian assault. Of course, he was a round winner last season, I think, on the Gold Coast.
So we've got the top 3, and we've got one of the locals. Then you got Spence, SOS, McKelvey, DJ 48. That's Wait in the background there. There's Spence, car number 22, and McKelvey, car number 5, the Icon Commodore, 27, I should say.
Well, Scott McKelvey 4th in the championship going into the round. But how good a job has Jeff Spencer, SOS, done? If it was Suss, it'd be great because he's trying to sew up 6th in the championship. But it doesn't quite work with SOS.
Seems to be very happy with what he's doing at the moment with the car. They're very happy with 7th. Dropped exactly 1 second out of the best lap time. So he's in the groove.
Well, he's done such a good job over the last probably 3 or 4 rounds. He's been one of the more consistent cars out there and has been gaining points every round. Scott McKelvey, he's just been finding his feet every round, and behind him is Andrew Waite. Now, Waite started all the way back from grid number 14.
He was 3rd in qualifying, though, so he has got some pace. And these guys around about that 5, 6, 7, 8, they have their own great battle too, don't they?
Absolutely. And speaking of Andrew Waite with the new nickname, DJ48 for the weekend, Chris Hanley, who had been driving that car in the championship before breaking his back in an incident down in the lower South Island. He is here this weekend. He's out of his back brace. He's walking around. Fantastic to have Chris here this weekend as SOS is getting out of shape in front of Precious McKelvey.
Yeah, that's the car we're talking about. You've got Spence, and then you've got McKelvey, and there it is. Car 48, DJ 48, Andrew Waite, and that 3-way scrap there now, taking over from Chris Hanley. It is great to see Chris Hanley back here, Hammer, and smiling and walking around and recovering from what was a very serious back injury. So that's good skills. He hopes to be back behind the wheel in a couple of months' time. So how good is that? That's very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely sensational. Close-knit team. Of course, the Ideal Standard mainline construction team. Dave Stewart, he's disappeared off the time charts. I don't think he even started the race. This is a great race.
And of course, around here, Taupo, very, very tight, very, very technical. You follow them into their own little wee freight train. You've got to basically get it right coming into the sweeper, just like Andrew's doing here.
Yeah, McKelvey making the mistake.
And try and set up the passing move at the end of this long, bad straight.
Looking at Andrew's
set up from the top.
1:48.5, his best. So he's actually got probably a good 7/10 of a second back on board with Mike Lightfoot after that drive-through. He's in the 12th position. He's ahead of Jeff Kernahan, who also had to take a drive-through.
different lines into and around this sweeper, setting up there. There, look.
There's Waite alongside McKelvey. This will be for the 6th position. Waite drives around the Icom Holden and picks up another position, having started all the way back from grid number 14. Just a couple of laps left to go here. Race 1 for the NZ V8 Ute Challenge from the Taupo Motorsport.
And that's what you got to do. You got to do that setup for the end of that lap, coming down the long back straight, but you got to make sure you're nice and smooth through the infield. Lovely cambered corners around here, just like Chris Pith is showing us what to do here. And then coming around that big sweeper onto the back straight, make your setup move there.
Now the important thing here to watch with Simon Byrne carrying that 5-second penalty for a jump start is look who's chasing him down in the background. It is the Mark Cromie Holden of Kane Lobb. That gap right now is 4.7 seconds, so not quite enough. So Kane Lobb could make a big gain here if he can stay within 5 seconds of Simon Byrne. I'm sure the team will be on the radio to Byrne, giving him the hurry up.
Exactly. Could be about another, what is that, 7-8 points? Just to maintain the championship lead.
Yeah, well, if second to third, yes, 7-point gain. So we're on board with Byrne.
Suddenly be back to around about, what, 50-odd points again, still in the lead.
It's still very, very close with 5 races left to go in the championship. 2 more here this weekend at Taupo, and of course the final 3 at the ITM 400 weekend at Hamilton. Pither, your race leader.
148.5, so he's about 2 seconds slower than Pither, and that's, you know, as he was saying, I need to find 2.5 seconds, which is a lot easier said than done, actually.
Well, he was a full second slower than Simon Byrne on the last lap, but I think he'd made that pass on Kernahan. So there is the championship leader. He has led from the first weekend at Pukekohe, which seems like such a long time ago.
And he won the marble draw then too.
So there's Pither. He's just taken the last lap board. His last lap was a 1:48, so Pither's just backing off the pace, looking to conserve tyres through the weekend. All of these cars running on the Yokohama tyres.
So we could be heading for a grand final finish with the last race of the season.
Well, looking forward to that. As
so many of the championships are like that, aren't they?
Oh, Senior and Lightfoot close quarters again. They've already shed a little bit of paint that saw the drive-through for the BSL Racing Ford. Looking over the rear deck back at Graham Senior Byrne.
One of Dave Stewart's problems was clutch problems. He had clutch problems in practice and qualifying, overheating too, so that's the reason why he's out. Just one of those weekends for the Wellington racer. And of course, Pither, he's just come back from spending some testing time in Australia, so always in the groove. I said, what's your day job? Chris Pither, and he said, rubbish driver for Ash around Palmerston North. You're right.
Ken's Bins, of course. So there is Pither at the final corner. He'll celebrate victory and his 9th win. That's right, 9th win of the championship to claw back into Kane Lobb's championship lead. But the battle to watch is, can Simon Byrne finish 5 seconds clear of Kane Lobb? And at the moment, it's right on that 5-second gap. So Chris Pither looking for the victory, but we need to see that gap between Byrne and Lobb, because Lobb hasn't actually made any significant gain.
No, so that means despite that 5-second penalty, may still hold on to second place.
So here's Pither with the victory. Race 1 for the NZV8 Ute Challenge from Taupo. Win number 9 for the championship. Simon Byrne crosses the line in second, 5.2 seconds down on Pither. What's the gap going to be back to Kane Lobb?
Too big.
6 seconds.
Too big.
Byrne will hold on to second. Lobb loses points in the championship race with Chris Pither. It is close. Win number 9 for Chris Pither. Simon Byrne holds on to second, carrying that 5-second penalty. Kane Lobb in third. The championship lead between Lobb and Pither is down to just 42 points heading into race 2. David Kernahan with a fine 4th place effort ahead of Jeff SOS Spencer and Andrew Waite 6th, all the way from grid number 14.
Chris, mate, if we ever need to know how can someone come back into a championship frame, you've done it pole position, lap record, race 1, mate, and only 40 points, I think, odd, behind the championship lead.
Yeah, I guess Manfield was great for me. We took a big chunk out of him there, and at this round last year I had a misfire weekend, so we didn't have the speed in the races, but it's good to come out and qualify, go quicker than I did last year, so we have improved over the year, and to get the points for qualifying in race 1's great.